Papers are being leaked, things are being leaked. It's criminal action, criminal act, and it's been going on for a long time before me. But now it's really going on. I think it's very, very unfair what's happened to General Flynn, the way he was treated, and the documents and papers that were illegally, I stress that, illegally leaked.
It's a very, very unhappy state of affairs in the federal government right now. So here's the background. General Flynn, his last job in the military was the head of the Defense Intelligence Agency, military spies. Yeah. General Flynn's career was spying. He knew when he was on the phone with the Russian ambassador that American spies were listening to everything he said. He knew it. It was absolutely standard operating procedure. But he thought he was being listened to by patriots. He didn't think he was being listened to by people who would try to undermine the presidency of Donald Trump and destroy the most important person in his national security entourage by leaking to the public or leaking to enough people in the government exactly what they heard. So we now have a state of affairs where we have professional spies in the intelligence community who can turn on or off information to the President of the United States, who can decide what to give him and what to keep from him, decide what to reveal and what to keep secret, and basically are a shadow government in an effort to control and frustrate the President. What the President just said about those illegal leaks is 100% correct. They are illegal, they're immoral, they're criminal. Will we ever find those people? Absolutely not. They are the best stealers of secrets, keepers of secrets, and leakers of secrets on the planet.
The deep state, although there's no precise or scientific definition, generally refers to the agencies in Washington that are permanent power factions. They stay and exercise power even as presidents who are elected come and go. They typically exercise their power in secret, in the dark, and so they're barely subject to democratic accountability if they're subject to it at all. It's agencies like the CIA, the NSA, and the other intelligence agencies that are essentially designed to disseminate disinformation and deceit and propaganda, and have a long history of doing not only that, but also have a long history of the world's worst war crimes, atrocities, and death squads. This is who not just people like Bill Kristol, but lots of Democrats are placing their faith in, are trying to empower, are cheering for, as they exert power separate and apart from, in fact, in opposition to, the political officials to whom they're supposed to be subordinate. And this is not just about Russia. You go all the way back to the campaign, and what you saw was that leading members of the intelligence community, including Mike Morrell, who was the acting CIA chief under President Obama, and Michael Hayden, who ran both the CIA and the NSA under George W. Bush, were very outspoken supporters of Hillary Clinton. In fact, Michael Morrell went to the New York Times and Michael Hayden went to the Washington Post during the campaign to praise Hillary Clinton and to say that Donald Trump had become a recruit of Russia. The CIA and the intelligence community were vehemently in support of Clinton and vehemently opposed to Trump from the beginning. And the reason was because they liked Hillary Clinton's policies better than they liked Donald Trump's. One of the main priorities of the CIA for the last 5 years has been a proxy war in Syria designed to achieve regime change with the Assad regime. Hillary Clinton was not only for that, she was critical of Obama for not allowing it to go further and wanted to impose a no-fly zone in Syria and confront the Russians. Donald Trump took exactly the opposite view. He said, we shouldn't care who rules Syria. We should allow the Russians and even help the Russians kill ISIS and Al-Qaeda and other people in Syria. So Trump's agenda that he ran on was completely antithetical to what the CIA wanted. Clinton's was exactly what the CIA wanted, and so they were behind her. And so they've been trying to undermine Trump for many months throughout the election, and now that he won, they are not just undermining him with leaks, but actively subverting him. There's claims that they're withholding information from him on the grounds that they don't think he should have it and can be trusted with it. They are empowering themselves to enact policy.
A phone call from the incoming Director of National Security was intercepted and the contents given to the media. And you have to, and so obviously shared by intelligence officials. Now, what's at the core of this is an effort by some in the intelligence community to upend any positive relationship between the U.S. and Russia. And I tell you, there's a marching band and chowder society out there. There's gold in them there hills. There are people trying to separate the U.S. and Russia so that this military-industrial intel axis can cash in. So is the bigger issue here, in your view, the fact that this was leaked and somebody inside the White House got this news out to the press? What are you saying? Well, look, it's an issue, and the general has admitted in his resignation letter that he misled the vice president. That's a bad thing. But the American people have to know that there's a game going on inside the intelligence community where there are those who want to separate the U.S. from Russia in a way that would reignite the Cold War. That's what's at the bottom of all this. It's like, it's early in the morning, it's Valentine's Day, but wake up, America. Wow.
Wow. Because Michael Flynn and the president, to an extent, pose an absolute existential threat to not only NATO, but the idea of this intelligence dominance. Keep in mind, Harry Truman and others have been warning about how the intelligence apparatus has to be looked at. Look, when you have somebody like the president who says, let's maybe get along with Russia, tamping down this Russophobic, Kremlin-baiting, this new, I guess, regurgitated Cold War rhetoric, and you also basically have this cooperation, not with Russia as a friend, but as a partner. This absolutely confounds many people, especially in the military-industrial complex, their vested interest.
By the military-industrial complex, the potential for the disastrous rise of misplaced power exists.
What we could be seeing right now is that Trump, his inner circle, and others that have climbed aboard for their own benefit have amalgamated, congealed together into a group that is trying to maintain its power for corrupt reasons. We can't necessarily assume that his motives are pure. I can say I believe that they likely are, because I can't imagine that the entire political complex would suddenly start attacking him unless their own corruption was threatening to be exposed. We have tales now that the intelligence community isn't even telling Trump everything, specifically because they're afraid of leaks, which they themselves may be partially responsible for.
Go ahead.
I may just one more follow-up.
Should I let him have a little bit more? What do you think, Peter? Peter, should I let him have a little bit more? Sit down. Sit down.
Just because of the attack of fake news and attacking our network, I just want to ask you, sir.
I'm changing it from fake news, though.
Doesn't that undermine?
Very fake news.
I know, but aren't you?